Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today we have a review, and honestly, I have no clue why I continue to do this to myself, but you know what? People send me decants, and I like to talk about how on this channel we will go anywhere, any place, old, new, vintage, niche, designer, cheap, expensive, all of that. And so this is part of all of that, I guess, and I kind of painted myself into a corner saying I'd review anything, so here I am. So this is a Mancera fragrance, and it is called Black Gold, and I'm sure 90% of my viewers just rolled their eyes and hit stop watching. But that's okay. I like talking about all kind of weird things. Let me just show you real quick how thick this fragrance wears, because I must admit, if you're somebody on a budget, and let's say you want a powerful fragrance that lasts all day, I can see why Mancera and Montale kind of get the love. I think a lot of the hardcore frag heads roll their eyes at this brand, but I mean, look at that. So even if I left this here, and I'll just show you in a second how thick, like usually sometimes you can spray a fragrance on, it feels like it kind of begins to evaporate. This layers on thick, all right? And it stays. I mean, it's an oily. You can almost see the oils on my skin. So first of all, I have to say thank you. I believe it was Daver who sent me this decant long ago that I've been kind of wearing once before bed occasionally. And today I'm wearing it as my scent of the day. So that's why I'm caked in it. But look, I mean, even now with the minutes kind of ticking by, look how oily the fragrance is remaining on my skin. It is a heavy fragrance, and you know, projection and sillage and all the stuff that I think a lot of newer folks to the community ask is something that this brand does well. So I can see why this is maybe like a first stop, along with Creed and a couple of the other sort of niche houses, if you will. So Mancera Black Gold is a fragrance we're going to be talking about today. Parfumo describes it as a floral, spicy scent. And so here's the thing. This is a strange concoction. There's no way around it. Came out in 2017, by the way. Pierre Montale is the perfumer. And so here's the note listing. Cinnamon, citrus fruits, lavender. Well, let me read it off the Mancera website. Citrus fruits, fresh lavender, not just lavender, fresh lavender. Nepalese oud, cinnamon and nutmeg in the head notes, with the heart notes of Egyptian jasmine, violet rose, marine notes, and leaves of patchouli. So patchouli. Base notes of vetiver, woody notes, leather notes, amber, and sensual white musks. That's from the website. And as usual, Mancera has their beautiful, detailed write-up of the scent. Freshness and strength united in a mysterious and intense fragrance. A bold and stylish masculine scent. So just imagine how many key words they fit in 2 sentences. Fresh, strength, mysterious, intense, bold, stylish, masculine. It's just like they tried to fit as many keywords as they could into 2 sentences and stuck it on there. They hit all the search engine terms. But I'll tell you what, it is very strange. It's a strange bird. I don't know why I do this to myself, having to wear these as my scent of the day. I do know because I feel like it's the best way for me to really get to know a fragrance and do a proper review, is to wear it as a true scent of the day, to live in it, to immerse yourself in it. But I don't own a bottle. This is really an early impression for me. Even though I've worn this to bed and I've smelled this before, this is not the first time I've smelled this scent. It is the first time I am wearing it as my scent of the day, and maybe the last. We'll see. I'll probably have enough juice for another scent of the day wear, but I probably won't put myself through this again. But the opening reminds me of some of those Bortnikoffs that I hated. If you go watch A Very Bortnikoff Christmas or A Very Bortnikoff Holiday Special live stream that I did, where we talked about the colognes with the colored plates on the front. So there was like a purple one and a green one, and Cologne de Feu, like a red one. Cologne de Feu, Cologne de la Terre. I hated those, despised them. I thought they were some of the worst colognes that I've smelled. This reminds me of like a designer version of those, okay? So they came out, those Bortnikoffs came out in 2022. This one came out in 2017. And I couldn't figure out why I was being reminded of the Bortnikoffs. Obviously, I think that citrusy opening blast with lavender And what I ended up settling on, basically, with this being my scent of the day, is that this is a very heady floral fragrance, okay? There's a lot of floral notes in here that come to the forefront, and they are not shy, especially for a fragrance that Mancera is kind of touting as big and bold, intense and masculine and all that stuff. A lot of florals, a lot of florals. I would say this is easily unisex. You know, it is wrapped in that Mancera wrapper, but really you get a lot of Egyptian jasmine, violet, and rose in the first hour. That trio of florals, Egyptian jasmine, violet, and rose, is right there in your face, okay? So if you know Bortnikov and you've watched some of my Bortnikov reviews, you know that Dmitry Bortnikov and now his son, Maxim Bortnikov, who is starting his own brand. We'll talk a little more about that maybe tonight if I remember. I'm thinking about doing a review of one of his fragrances that his son signed his name to, and his son has his own house being launched very soon. I think it's called Maxim's, or Maxim or something. But you'll hear more about that as the weeks go on. But Bortnikov is known for his use of heavy florals, and here it feels like a very similar setup. So heavy florals with this Nepalese oud in the opening. And if you would like to laugh, just go to Parfumo and actually click on the Nepalese oud note, and then if you click on the Nepalese oud note, you can actually click the Nepalese oud name, and it'll take you to kind of a list of fragrances that have used this specific note in the Parfumo database. And here they are: Arabian's Tonka, Montale; Oud Vanilla, Mancera; Red Tobacco, Mancera; Nepal Oud, Montale; Black Prestigium, Mancera; Midnight in Gold, Mancera; Deep Forest, Mancera; Oud Exclusive, Mancera. I mentioned today Black Gold. Gold Prestigium, Mancera; Oud Island, Montale; Wood on Fire, Montale; Gold Oud, Mancera; Bengal Oud, Montale; Wild Rose Oud, Mancera; Oud Jasmine, Montale; Pink Prestigium, Mancera. You get the idea. There's a handful that have used this Nepalese oud, like Mellifluence perfumes, and that's probably a proper Nepalese oud note if I had to guess. If you really twisted my arm, the fact that $180 will get you 120 mils of this stuff probably goes to tell you, and the fact you see it at discounters all the time for half price or whatever, or you see the even smaller 60 mil bottles for 40 bucks or 50 bucks or whatever they are, probably goes to tell you that the quality of the oud note in here is not high class real Nepalese oud. Now, that's just my opinion. If the brand says we are using real high-class Nepalese oud, go with it. But I don't think I've ever heard Montale or Mancera claim that. I would be shocked if they tried to claim it. And just on a side note, I absolutely despise the Mancera logo. It looks so ridiculous. It's like, it looks like the Little Shop of Horrors plant, you know? Feed me, Seymour, with a giant M in the middle. It's just, it's so tacky. But that being said, I think the older bottles had like a screw cap like this. This is the only Mancera I own. And so it's a screw cap on the older ones, and the newer ones are like magnetic caps. So that's an easy way to tell the bottle. Could you imagine selling vintage Mancera? I just can't wait to see them on eBay. Vintage Mancera, $1,000. Anyways, so this is a heavy floral with that oud in the opening, and if you really want to, kind of categorize this, it's a strange floral, spicy, with a little bit of that woody oud note, probably a ton of synthetics in black oud and Cyprian and all this other stuff, and lavender. There is a big fuck off, screechy, circa 1990s lavender in here. It really does feel like it belongs smack dab in the middle of the 1990s. The lavender here, it feels, scratchy is a good word for it, but I think it does hint to those laundry musks type feeling that lavender can sometimes give. I don't know what to say about it, because on one hand, I despise it. On the other hand, I don't hate it as much as I thought I would hate it, is the thing. So, and that's how I feel about a lot of the Manceras. Like, I can understand their spot in the market. I understand why they are what they are. I hate the fact that there's like 100 Mancera fragrances that have been released in the last decade, or there's just page after page after page after page, and they're all kind of put out as the same type of marketing. And so it just becomes very redundant and overkill, and part of me despises that. But on the other side, like I said, I can see why this is hyped or was hyped in the past. I think very few people are not now hyping something from 2017. The hype reviewers have moved on, but they used to hype the shit out of this. And so at the top, that big fuck off lavender is a really good way to put it. If the freshness of lavender bothers you, if that fresh laundry detergent feel of lavender from time to time, not soapy, but detergent-like, bothers you, you may not like this. Personally, if you said, Ramsey, I actually like this weird combination of Arabian notes with fresh lavender, I would point you to this. This is discontinued now, because of course it is. But Ciel Man, look at the dent I put in that. That is my dent, by the way. That's maybe the largest dent of any Amouage that I have. I have yet to review this, but this is Ciel Man. I'm going to review it this spring, because this is a perfect spring fragrance. It's got lavender, frankincense, florals. There's a peach note in here. I think this does what Black Oud is trying to do better, in my opinion. Ciel Man by Amouage. This is more classy to me. This is more modern. I mean, look at the oil. Again, just look at that. That is a high oil concentration. That is a thick fragrance. And that's what the brand is all about. They're all about the projection. They're all about the compliment bros, compliment monsters. And like I said, the fragrance goes from weird to strange, because it opens up with that scratchy lavender, strange oud note, big floral hit in the beginning. I mean, I'm getting a lot of florals right now mixed with that lavender, which is okay. I mean, I have come to like florals, but I think maybe some of the beast mode bros won't like the florals. Although maybe they won't pick them up as florals. Maybe they'll just pick them up as fresh type of notes, because this is a fresher take. Even though it's called Black Gold, when I think of Black Gold, I think of oil, right? Black Gold for me is like another name for oil. And there's nothing oily about this. Maybe you could say the Nepalese oud is the Black Gold because it's black rot in the heartwood of the tree. But when I see an oud note in a Mancera, of course, you know how I feel about it. But maybe that's what they were trying to describe as Black Gold. I don't know, but I definitely don't get any oil or petrol or jet fuel vibes or anything like that. There's none of that in here. None of that. So I think it's a weird name. It's a weird name for a weird fragrance and a weird logo with that little shop of little House of Horrors plant coming at you. Feed me, Seymour, with the Mancera M in the middle. Just very, very strange. But it goes from weird to weirder, because basically what comes out in the mid is this aquatic note or this marine note. I heard one person call it maybe like a watery violet, okay? So maybe like a watery violet-y sort of marine note. But I think the marine note's trying to do something different. So after getting to kind of feel the fragrance progress a couple times, I think that marine note is trying to recreate almost like an ambergris-like smell. So imagine this sort of salty ambergris smell on a budget, okay? That's basically what this is. It's a Middle Eastern style. Many of Mancera fragrances feel very cookie cutter to me. Like you get the amber, you get the musks, you get the, what did I say? The patchouli, of course, because patchouli adds a lot of that depth and thickness and heaviness. And Manceras are all about heavy. They're all about, spray them on now, you can smell them 12 hours later. They're all about that. And so the amber, the musk, the vetivers, the leather, the patchouli, all of those heavy notes feel like they kind of created this accord for a fragrance once, and then they just kind of use it over and over again and just put different things here and there, and then bam, a new release, bam, a new release, bam, a new release. And so I think, that's kind of the brand's philosophy. They're going for power. They're going for, some would say, chemical warfare. I think that's why so many of the compliment bros really go towards Mancera or Montale. But like I said, I have to be fair. I have to be Switzerland. I have to be middle of the road, whatever you want to call it. And the reality of the situation is that I don't hate this as much as I thought I would. The one thing about Mancera and Montale that I have to say, are they synthetic? Hell yes, 100%. It smells synthetic from the word go. It ends synthetic. That's what makes it push off your skin. That's, real natural ingredients don't push like this, to my nose anyways, my opinion. And so that's what makes it push. And, but on the other side of the coin, it's not the type of synthetics or amber woods that will make you barf. For me, this is not unique luxury. I would rank this ahead of unique luxury. This is more of the sort of synthetics that, for some reason, I can stand them. They don't hit me in a way where I'm like, oh my God, that amberwood blast is like giving me a headache. These don't. I mean, they really don't hit me that way. And what's interesting is they're loud. Yes, they're intense. My brain kind of perceives them as loud and intense when I'm wearing it, but I don't hate it as much as you would think I do. That's the thing. Is I can, like I said, I completely understand why these fragrances exist in the space they exist in. For how expensive, the other thing you have to give Mancera its props on, not using the type of amber woods that really just make me want to barf, number one. Number two, the pricing. So you can get 120 ml bottle sells still today with prices going as crazy as they are on fragrances. 120 ml bottles of Black Gold sells for 180 bucks. Discounters, you can find them at half of that. And I think that is, for somebody on a budget, someone who wants to kind of smell something different than designers, I completely see why they're as popular as they are. 100%. I completely get it. It's thick and heavy and intense and compliments bro and all that stuff, right? So, like I said, the strange part starts to come in with that weird marine note, that wateriness, but it's really more like a freshness that I think is trying to implement this sort of ambergris-like smell. And it's mixing in with so think about what you're getting. You're getting spices in the beginning with cinnamon and nutmeg, okay? And I've said it before, but nutmeg kind of works as like the referee, keeps all the notes in bounds. You have that fuck off lavender, that scratchy lavender in the beginning, with citrus fruits, and the citrus fruits are citrusy and fruity, and you get both, really. Even though the word is citrus fruits, you will smell both. You'll smell citruses and you'll smell fruits. I almost get something like this weird melon-like smell. So there's this sweet, floral, musky smell that kind of floats underneath the surface of the fragrance, and it smells like honeyed tea. It smells like honeyed mango tea, okay? That's where the fruit part comes in, is it smells like honey mango tea surrounded by this floral bouquet of violets and rose and Egyptian jasmine. And then you have kind of the depth and heftiness of patchouli and amber, musk, and leather and vetiver. Now, so what's interesting is how it can be fresh, right? This sort of combination of intense, look at the juice on my skin. That is what, 18 minutes old? I sprayed this right when I started the video. So that's 19 minutes old. Look at that. You can still almost see it clinging. I mean, Manceras and Montales, they're like stage 5 clingers. They will cling to your skin for dear life. They will not let go. And so that is, I guess you could say, a positive, right? But the dry down just goes on and on and on and on. It's crazy. I mean, even this blast from 6 hours ago smells like I just sprayed it. I mean, it is just so intense. And some people love that. So you have the citrus and the fruits in the opening, the weird musky honey tea-like florals with the melon-like smell underneath, the interesting spices, the Nepalese oud, the scratchy fuck-off lavender, the weird marine notes, and then the generic sort of Middle Eastern, this probably belongs in a Montale, not a Mancera bottle, in my opinion. Black Gold probably should have been in a Montale, but it's interesting because when the brands first came out, Montale was supposed to be the Middle Eastern line, and Mancera was supposed to be like the French line. It was supposed to be like the French perfumery, right? That's why like this was trying to kind of do the Aventus thing, right? And so, and then somewhere along the lines, the streams just crossed, and they were like, "Fuck it, we're just gonna release everything in everything, and we'll release Middle Eastern fragrances in Mancera. We'll release French style fragrances with Montale." And even though Montale focuses on the rose ouds and stuff like that, the oud soliflores and all that shit, um, there's kind of this been crossing of the streams because I think the brand figured, hey, people will buy it, people will talk about it, so let's put it out. And this definitely feels like this amber, rose, oud, musk, leather generic base is like a recycle. It's like a reuse from some other fragrance, and they threw this all this weird stuff on top. And you know what? It kind of, in a weird way, works. I can completely see why somebody would like this. I wouldn't buy a bottle. Fuck no. But I could completely see why somebody would like it. Now, it's compared to some fragrances I've never smelled before. So it's actually compared to a Montale called Arabians from 2017 as well, which I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The year fragrances released is very important to pay attention to. So both Arabians and Black Gold were released in 2017, and they both share similarities according to Parfumo. I haven't smelled it. It's also compared to a fragrance from the house of Rosanne du Matou called Fresh Oud, which I've never smelled, but I must admit I would like to. I put it on my wish list, but I've never smelled that one. So there are some comparisons out there. It's a weird bird. It probably belongs in the Montale bottle because of that weird Middle Eastern generic base thing that you've probably smelled a million times. But it works in a weird, fresh way. Very floral, very fresh. Very weird, musky, floral undertone with that big, just heavy base of just feels like this is going to be like a 24-hour fragrance. Like I'll be in the shower tomorrow scrubbing the shit out of this off my hand, just so I don't continue to smell it. But I don't know. I mean, there's pros and cons. Me trying to be Switzerland and be neutral, I have to kind of try to talk about both, and I think there are pros and cons to this, and I can see the pros and cons. I do think the people who are like, fuck, everything from Mancera shite, everything from Montale shite. I'm not there. There is a Montale, I think it's called Oud Cuir de Adabi, that I have a sample of. Someone sent me, and I actually like it. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. And so you almost have to take each one as kind of like a case-by-case basis. Even though they all get lumped together, I don't think it's fair to just lump everything together and say everything is shite, everything sucks, don't even pay attention to it. That's why I do these videos, because I want to have somewhat of a balance to the ones who are like, greatest fragrance of all time, best compliment magnet, and then the other guys get on there and they're like, oh, complete shit, total shit. So I try to be kind of Switzerland. I try to be neutral on this and give my honest thoughts. And that is my honest thoughts. When I first sprayed this on, I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to wear this all day. But then I ended up remembering bits and pieces of wearing it to bed previously, and I was like, okay. And I started to appreciate little bits and pieces of it. But I can see the hate and I can see the love that it gets. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. Let me know in the comments what you think. I love hearing your thoughts as always. So this has been my review of Mancera Black Gold from 2017. So as always, cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Oh, thank you, Daver, for the decant. Thank you, or screw you, however you think of it. But thanks for sending it my way, man. Very much appreciate you always getting my nose on something new. So thank you, my friend. Cheers. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.